Hi there and welcome to Winners Corner. This Sunday we're devoting to one of the biggest thoroughbred racing days in Sweden. At Jägersro racetrack we have a fantastic race day crowned with the Swedish Derby, one of the Sweden major races. We also have a Grand Slam 75 round, and Mike, we used to see you as a trotting expert, but here you are, and I'm of course very curious for you to tell us how familiar you are with the thoroughbreds.
Okay, I'm pretty good. I tend to follow it quite closely, and I really enjoy betting on thoroughbred racing as well. I've had quite a bit of success through the years on the thoroughbred racing, so I love it.
Great. What do you think of this year's edition of the Swedish Derby?
It's a very nice one. I think it's one of the better editions we've had in quite a number of years. I don't expect to see such a big upset like we had last year when Dorsia won it. This year, I think the favorite does look very strong.
Okay then, there's not only the Swedish Derby that holds superb quality, but also most of the other races. And we start in race 3. It's the Derby Day Sprint. It's for the horses that have paid the input to the Derby, but they didn't make the big race. But here, though, they still get the first prize is 250,000 Swedish crowns. And Mike, 10 fillies and 3 stallions and geldings in this race. What have you found for us?
I'm going to go for 2 fillies. I think number 1, Shady Lady, has a good chance to finish in the top 2, so I'm going to go for an exacta with her on it. Shady Lady has shown improving form. Last time got beat by a really good horse right at the wire, but put up a strong fight all the way. Oliver Wilson is known for going all in the lead, and I think he's going to try that here as well. He's going to take the lead and then going to keep a good pace and make it difficult for the horses on the outside to reach him. But on the exacta, I'm combining with the favorite, number 12, Shantou, who I feel is probably the best horse in the race, but has kind of a tricky post here with such a big field. But those two really stand out for me as better than the rest, and I think we got... it's going to be one of the favorite exactas, but still worth betting on.
So an exacta bet that goes both ways here in race 3 is what we start off with this Sunday. Now we make a jump to race 7, and this is the main attraction of the whole day, the Swedish Derby. 3-year-olds are out over the long distance, 2,400 meters. 1.5 million Swedish crowns to the winner, Mike. And 15 stallions and geldings are out here in this race. Quite open this year race.
It is open. Several of these horses have very few starts, but they are definitely on their way up. And we could see some really spectacular performances from some that haven't been all that impressive so far. But one that has impressed me through this year and last year is number 4, Barade, or Barad. It comes from France now. You started off here in Sweden at Jägersro and raced quite well. Finished his year last year with 1 easy win and then a 2nd place, those times with Elion Chavez. Now this year, Jacob Johansson has chosen this one in front of Shake the Disease, where he had the ride there as well. And that says quite a bit, because Shake the Disease is also figured to be one of the top contenders here. But Barad, I think, is going to be very tricky to beat. Started off this year with a listed win in France and has been out against some really tough horses in France. So I think this one is just tougher than the rest here and sort of moves down in class a little bit. How you can say that about a Derby, but Barade definitely the most experienced one, and I think very tricky to beat here.
So a win bet there on number 4 Barade in the Swedish Derby race 7. We move on to the next race, race 8, and it's another race for 3-year-old horses that didn't make the Derby, but here they also will receive 250,000 Swedish crowns. How have you been analyzing this race, Mike?
Well, here we have a typical horse that has very few starts, but is definitely on the way up. Number 6, Siphon River. I think this is going to be a star in the future. Siphon River won his debut back in August on the grass, and then came back after more than half a year away from the track, was out in the voters' race, a really tough race against some of the top horses. There's a couple of those in the Derby, and finished very good there. Finished 5th, 4 lengths behind the winner. So that was a really strong performance after such a long layoff. I think Siphon River is definitely going to be on his way up in form and will be very tricky to beat here. But this is going to be a favorite, so I'm going to combine it on an exacta with number 10, Be My Shine. Another horse on the way up, definitely moving up in form and has some pretty good results. Last time was out in a handicap race against older horses and raced quite well there, only beaten by 5 lengths, and moves down in class now quite a bit when he's up against 3-year-olds only.
So a nice exacta bet there in race 8. And time now to take a closer look at the daily double. This Sunday it takes place in races 9 and 10. And DD1 is the Sawawi Cup. It's 600,000 Swedish crowns to the winner. It's a Group 3 race, Mike, and 1,200 meters over the dirt track. The favorite here, number 1, I Kirk. Is something that is someone you're not going for here.
Exactly. Kirk is going to be quite a heavy favorite here. Perfect post and comes with 2 straight wins, 3 wins out of the last 5 races. But I've got an outsider here that I'm very excited about. Number 11, another bat, comes from England with really good results, and I feel is too low on the handicap here. This horse gets 2.5 kilos off as a 3-year-old. Younger than the rest, but more experienced than the rest. Has traveled before, went to Turkey last year to win a listed race in Turkey, or maybe I think it was a Group 3 race actually in Turkey. So obviously the horse travels well, and he has raced really well in England. He's won at Chester's, which is one of the tightest tracks and the one that resembles Jägersro the most. Jägersro is a very tricky track here in Sweden. It's very tight. So I feel that number 11, another bat, should be a very clear favorite here against Kirk. So I'm going to really take advantage of this one, use him on several other bets as well, and go against the favorite here. I think there's too much dead money on the favorite in this race.
Sounds very exciting, Mike. And DD2 is the Swedish Derby consolation. And also here, you found us a banker that is not a favorite. Yeah,
and this one I'm quite excited about. I think in the end, though, number 5, Marta, will end up as one of the favorites, but should be a very clear favorite in this race. Last time was out in the voters' race against top horses and finished like a rocket there over the final stretch. That means the horse is really on the way up here in form, and from this interesting post here, I think that Marta is the one to beat.
And this means that we have one single combination for the daily double this Sunday. Now, time to analyze the Grand Slam 75 round. We have to find the winners in 7 consecutive races. And last year, this race day, Mike, no one managed to get 7 correct.
It was an impossible round, especially Dorsia in the Derby. I mean, no one could ever imagine that happening.
Okay, then. So what do you think? Is there a chance that we will see big money also this Sunday?
Beforehand, it doesn't look like it. I think we'll see a nice payout, especially with the outsiders that I have, especially another bat there. But there are a couple of favorites that do look really strong. Starting off already in the first leg on the Grand Slam, I think the favorite will win that one.
And I know that you are starting off with a bank.
I am. I'm banking Mrs. Loreen. This horse is just spectacular. At Jägersro, she is virtually unbeatable. She's won 16 out of 26 races at the track. She loves it, and she's got her favorite distance here. I don't see how anyone is going to beat Mrs. Loreen. She's up against some top mares, though, Apollina, for instance, and several other good horses, but they're nowhere close to Mrs. Loreen at Jägersro.
And if the first leg was easy, the second leg is not, because here you mark all the horses.
Yeah, it's a handicap, and it does look very even, and hopefully we can see an upset here.
In the third leg, we have a race over the Derby distance, 2,400 meters. Also 9 horses here in this race, but here you're satisfied with only 4 horses.
I think those 4 stand out. If you want to mark another one, it's number 5, Duke Derby, who loves the Jägersro racetrack, but hasn't shown any kind of form now for well over a year. But I think we won last year on this race day, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel the 4 I have stand out a bit.
The fourth leg is the Swedish Derby, where you earlier recommended us to place a win bet on number 4 Parade. But here you add on number 9 and 10 as well. How comfortable are you now with these 3 horses?
I think those 3 really do stand out a bit. That they are a bit better than the rest and on their way up, also with the top riders, top jockeys as well. So Parade could be a possible choice for a banker, but I'm playing a bit safe there.
And then in the fifth leg, you mark the same 2 horses you had for your exacta proposal, number 6, Siphon River, and number 10, Be My Shine. But in the 6th leg, you let the favorite, number 1, I Kirk, accompanying your DD Banker, number 11.
Yeah, on the GS75, it could be worth marking that one as well. I could afford it with the other 2 bankers that I have. But if you want to make a smaller system, I do suggest another bat as a banker.
And then finally, in the last leg, you stick to your DD Banker number 5, Marta. And that means that we have 432 combinations for the Grand Slam 75 system this Sunday. Our website is swedishhorseracing.com, and there, of course, you find additional information about this race day and about Swedish horse betting in general. Thank you so much, Mike, for today, and thank you out there for watching. And now we wish you the best of luck with your bets and enjoy this fantastic race day at Jägersro Racetrack. Bye-bye.